What you read? Who?
Good morning. It is Monday. Oh my God, is it Monday? It's Monday, 6/30, 2025. Where has the time gone? My goodness, we're past half the year. Anyway, this is Easy Financial, and it is a Monday morning sales meeting, and I'm going to introduce you to Richard Frost, the CEO. Go ahead, Richard.
Good morning, everybody. Uh, we created a couple of videos this weekend. One for uh, basically sales purposes. You can share it with people that you're talking to about Easy Financial and explaining what we do. And the other has to do with a kind of an introduction video for new affiliates, people who come in to be what we used to call agents, but in any event, to introduce them to the company from their perspective and tell them a little something about the program, the commission structure, that sort of thing. We've got videos for showing, but I thought we'd go through the PowerPoint equivalent so that we'll have a little time to chat with them and with each item and see what works and what needs a little refinement. Essentially, our goal is to help business owners seeking money to grow their business. I mean, that's a pretty basic and easily worded statement. I think most anybody could understand that. Business owners to grow their business. We're part of the business and real estate finance industry, broadly speaking. We find and procure financing from other business lending sources. As you can see, we're in a lot of different segments, whether it's retail or multifamily, industrial, whatever, including real estate and other things. So, in the business area, retail, wholesale, industrial, real estate, franchise, service industries, home based, gig economy, construction, agriculture, professional, and many, many more. Just about anything you can imagine in the business world, we can have offer some services to. Uh, Longly stated, with this is probably a little too busy, a little too much information, but essentially unsecured business lines, acquisitions, expansions, cash flow, any type of activity for a business that needs financing, that needs financial assistance or participation. On the real estate side, acquisition loans or buy, fix, and flip, which we focus on a lot, ground up construction, restoration, conservation, technology upgrades, retail, commercial, industrial, warehouse, it doesn't matter. The entire spectrum. We connect business owners and business lenders. You notice this is a picture of Wall Street, not your local community bank. We're the middleman. We bring these guys to these guys. Your local bank is always happy to open a checking and savings account for your small business, and they leave and give you a credit card. Problem is when you go to them for a business loan and they say no, who else are you going to go to? Who knows you? Who's going to take care of your financing needs if the local community bank isn't ready to do that yet? We have over 100 lenders and financing sources that we rely on. They vet us, they enroll us as a kind of a registered broker for them, and then they share program details, underwriting details, documents, checklists, sort of thing to make sure that we can do a good job for them and bringing them prospects that are credit worthy and ready to sign. Our lenders include large commercial banks, finance companies of various sizes, small, medium, and huge, private investor groups, real estate investment trusts, or REITs, as you sometimes hear them called, insurance companies, hedge funds, sovereign wealth funds, hard money lenders, and many others. Think of it like this: when you go to your local bank, That's a one shot. You have one opportunity with somebody you know or may know for that business financing or for that real estate project. In our case, we take it up to 100 different lenders. Some of them have specific interest in one area or the next, and we focus in on those that like that particular segment, that do business routinely in that particular space. We know them, we know who they do, what they do, and what they want. And we can tailor, briefly stated, we can tailor the project for them. We start out by clarifying and focusing on the needs and goals of the client and the project. We improve the profiles of both and the metrics for both the credit and the project. In other words, we work to improve the credit of the applicant, and we also work to improve the structure and the presentation of the project itself. We prepare and optimize the funding package. We prepare it and we optimize it not only for our own purposes, but for the ultimate lenders we're going to be taking it to. We complete the underwriting and then we make the presentation to the lender. We work with the borrower and lender to a successful conclusion. Essentially, when we send a package to a lender, there's not much more for the lender to do except go through the package, ask a few questions, get clarification, and make a decision. The whole process increases the odds for better rates and terms, and it also increases the odds for a successful funding. You can't get that service from a local bank. Our transaction fees for our clients are all stated, published upfront. No upfront transaction fees, and fees are only paid when the transaction successfully closes, which means it takes the mystery out of it. If we don't get your money, you don't pay. There are three primary areas of focus: one for unsecured fundings for promissory notes, lines of credit, that sort of thing that are not collateralized. Usually it's secured business lines like inventory, receivables, factoring, equipment acquisition, leasing, those kinds of things that businesses need routinely. And finally, if it's real estate related, there's a mortgage funding. We have different structures for each, but essentially the end result is if we don't succeed, there's no fee. We also have some other services that we provide, particularly in credit rehabilitation, that sort of thing. We can quote those as on an as needed basis. And if you want that, we can quote a price and terms and conditions and expectations up front. You agree to it and we go from there. There's a wide range of programs, just about anything that you can imagine. We stand ready to do for you what we've done for our clients for so many years. We help make their dreams come true. Anyway, again, we've got a video presentation and that's fine, but we're kind of working through this. This is the first blush. Uh, Ron, what do you think? Is that helpful? Ron, you're on mute right now. He's having trouble with the audio. That's okay. You didn't cut him off, did you, Frank?
Okay, yeah. So, no,
All
that was
right,
very
everyone,
helpful.
everyone
Very,
can unmute themselves now.
Okay.
very helpful, Rich. Like, so what you did is you really just broadened, the scope of who we can actually help. So, there was a few people trying to get in, but that was very powerful because again, this way we won't be focused on, just real estate, helping, retail business and um, you know, that is even more important to me because again, I think retail is something that's struggling right now. So anybody that has a business, they're going to need money. They're going to need inventory, and if we can help them with that, secure a loan to keep their business going. Guys, inventory is going to be harder and harder to get. It's going to be more expensive and so on and so forth. And of course, we're talking about rents and that type of thing. But that was very, very thorough. So um, if you're just jumping on and you missed the overview that Richard just did, it's on YouTube. Frank has almost over 100+ videos, trainings on there. So you can go to his channel and subscribe and get all the information that he's done over the last 4 or 5 years. Thank you, Richard. That was very thorough.
Thank you. Thank you. Let
Richard,
me see.
I got a question for you, Richard. Um,
Yes.
you were talking about somebody going to their own bank. Many times when we talk to our customers, um, they've been doing business with Bank of America or Wells Fargo or whatever for years while they were working. And then they finally decided to become an entrepreneur. So, do you mean to say that if they've been working for years and years, that they would go to their bank and they'd get turned down for a loan to start a new business? Is that what you're saying?
That frequently happens. Banks are very comfortable setting up checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards for their customers, that sort of thing. That's always done on the value of their personal credit history, their scores, and their relationship with the bank. As soon as they start talking a new business, I want to do a startup. I want to open a cupcake store, or whatever their dream project is. That's a completely different animal, and the banks invariably are going to underwrite it like a business. And yes, they can probably borrow personally a little bit of money to help fund their personal project, but it's not necessarily going to be in the name of their business. So the bank may very well put their business name on it, but right there beneath the business name is going to be their personal name, and it's really underwritten as a personal project. Uh, if, on the other hand, you need some serious financing for a new business, it's the same old story. Come back in 2 years when you've got a history of tax returns and financial statements and profitability, and then we'll be happy to help you. You follow the distinction. It is primarily a personal relationship with you that you have with the bank, and they'll loan you money. They'll do whatever they can for you within that framework. But when it comes down to some serious assistance for a business enterprise, it falls back to our underwriting standards require us to have the business fully researched and documented before we make a loan to them. Otherwise, it's a non-conforming loan. And when the bank examiner comes, he's going to downgrade that. We're going to have to come up with more equity for the bank.
Great question, Frank.
So then basically, Richard, what you're saying is with Easy Financial, because we have over 100 different lenders, we can overlook things like startups and we can help startups get off the ground. Is that
That's
correct?
right. That's right.
And so, what about this thing I've seen in the past where they have restricted industries that, like, for example, cannabis? Cannabis is legal in some states, not legal in other states. How do we get around things like that?
You may have noticed in the database of lenders across the page, we have all sorts of different niches in that industry. And some of the lenders do this, or they may do that, or they may do six or seven of the other things. But there are, believe it or not, there are financial institutions out there, private lenders mostly, that invest in cannabis farms. They'll invest in that industry. You just have to find them and know who they are. We can get to them. There are other industries as well. you know, I don't want to go too deep into the weeds here on other types of restricted industries, but there's usually somebody out there who sees the opportunity and will invest in that particular niche.
I saw
The
a chat.
value that we offer having 100 different lenders there is that we can find them and we can match business for business.
I saw a chart you put up on the screen. Is that kind of general knowledge? Anyone could just look that up and figure out who's doing what, or is that something special that you guys do?
It's something really special because I'm sure a number of people attempt to do that, but we've been in business for over 40 years, and there are all sorts of small to mid-sized, sometimes very large entities out there that get involved when they want to get involved. Uh, if somebody, if the business comes to them, and it fits their niche, they will
Could
get
you pull
involved. They'll make
could,
a deal. They'll underwrite it and go with it. But
could
how are
you
you going
pull
to
that
find those
chart
people?
up? Could you pull that chart up again? I'd like to take a look at that if it's possible.
It is. Let me do that real quick.
Yeah, while he's doing that, I think we have someone in the waiting room trying to get in.
Frank, crap. My computer is going crazy.
Okay. All right. It's okay. I just saw that shot. I thought that was something special. Looks like you customized that.
Frank, if you wasn't the founder of this enterprise, I would love to recruit you as one of my agents. You ask great questions, man. You'll make a great agent.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, Frank,
Well,
there you go. You have a
can I brag? Can I brag? Every company I ever represented from when I was 19 years old on, I always was either in the backbreakers circle, the top 5%, some many times to top number 1%. I was always that because if you ask the right questions, um, you can, you can do very well. Oh, there you go. There's that chart that I was looking at.
This is a chart, and as you look across it, you see these different niches: bridge loans, fast closings, hard money lender, a spec builder, somebody who does spec building construction, mixed use. That would be larger deals that to combine, say, residential, commercial, and so forth. Uh, no money down, no income, portfolio loans, purchase, refinance, all sorts of different niches. As you can see, as the list of lenders goes down the page here, some of these do quite a few things, some of them do just a few things. We know who these are and we have the details about them. But, how many people do you know that do gap funding? How many do alternative funding or agricultural loans? All of these things are available to us. They contact us routinely, the new lenders who hear about us, learn about us, or get referred to us, and they'll just send us a notice out of the blue saying, "Hey, this is what we were really focused on, and if you could help us out, that'd be great."
What's a sovereign wealth funds?
Ever hear of the Saudis? Uh,
Yeah.
there are a number of countries around the world that put their sovereign assets, their reserves, into an investment fund and make that investment fund invest in high yield investments. I've done this myself with a number of Saudi and other funds from the Emirates in the vicinity of the Saudi government, for example, and that some of those funds are huge. They're usually managed by people I know in London, for example. who seem to be based in London. But in any event, they'll have an Oxford educated or Cambridge educated peer in London with his own investment advisory firm. And I know one in particular who is the primary advisor to the Saudi sovereign wealth fund, to the Saudi royal family. I sent a deal to him about, it's been 20 years ago now, but it was about a $200 million deal, investment in alternative energy project. And he looked at it, scrubbed it, and then advised the royal family to invest in it, and they did. And it's just that easy. A lot of these companies, particularly oil-rich countries or other countries with a lot of wealth coming in from a particular industry, this or that, some particular resource, will set aside excess funds into an investment fund that is available for investing people. But about the only way you'll ever get to them is through their advisors in London who are the gatekeepers. And so long as you know those people, you can get to the gate, get an interview, give them a good deal, and get a deal funded. They do it in small pieces, they do it in large pieces, but it's all a matter of that connectivity and that ability to know who you're talking to.
Okay, unless somebody else have another question, which I can wait. That screen where you were showing the slide where you were showing the credit categories, could you go back to that, please?
Credit categories.
And it says something about credit repair, 189, something like that, 80 something a month.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it says credit restoration. That's what I meant, not credit repair. It says 189 and 89 a month. What is that? And I see the time frame 3 to 6 months for that process. But the 189 and the 89 a month. So what's involved in credit restoration?
Frank, that you want to address
you want
that?
me to take you want me to take that one,
Yeah.
Richard?
Yes.
All right. There's three levels of credit services that we provide. Credit repair, which takes the longest, and a lot of people feel like it really doesn't work that well anyway. It takes a long time to take something off, but it can pop right back on again. So a lot of folks there's millions of people out there doing credit repair, and so that sometimes doesn't work. Credit restoration is a little bit better than that, and it's it's performed by a third party company who's done thousands and thousands of these deals for us, and it will take anywhere um, as little as 30 days, but I don't preach that. It could take as little as 30 days to get things taken off of your credit report that are negatives. But I say from 3 months to 6 months, it's not usually, it's $189 down and then $89 per month. And they do the dispute letters for you. They know how to do the dispute letters correctly, and they know where to mail the dispute letters. Now, you could do it yourself, like up above. That could take 2 to 4 years because if you mail them to the wrong places, they just don't even get opened. So, what was the question again? The 3 to 6 months, was that the question? How long is it going to take?
Yes.
Just wanted to know about, in general, you're doing it. I just want to know in general what was involved in credit restoration.
Credit restoration is a coaching program, and It does a lot of things like credit education. It tells you exactly how to handle your credit so that when you take something off, it stays off. And I always would say when we were marketing that particular product, the absence of bad credit does not necessarily constitute good credit. So when we remove something that is a negative, we have to replace it with something that is a positive. So let's take, for example, you had at one time or another had a car repossessed from you. That would be a big red flag. And that would cause you to have problems. Your credit score would drop. So if we got that off, it doesn't necessarily mean that your credit score is going to go up. So if you got that off and then you replace it with, for example, if you're a renter, rent doesn't count for anything on the credit bureau. If you're a mortgage holder, it counts for about 40 points. So what if we had a system that we could show your rent as if it were a mortgage payment as opposed to rent? Well, then you would gain 40 points. And that's what credit restoration is all about. We replace the bad with the good. And when we replace the bad with the good, taking the bad off doesn't necessarily increase your credit score. Putting the good on afterwards, that certainly increases your credit score.
Outstanding. Now, so typically when a person has gone successfully through the credit restoration program, typically what is their score at the end of the successful process?
That's an excellent question. And it's one that I have to say, Tina, there is no average. It goes up anywhere from 50 to 100 points. Each different thing that we remove carries a certain amount of negative points. Each thing that we add to it carries a certain amount of positive points. What we like to do is we like to focus on where you need to be. So let's take, for example, one of the mortgages that we're doing is a buy, fix, and flip. It's not our flagship product. It's not the top of the line product. It's one of the mid-range products that we have. And you only need a 650 or to a 680. And right now you're at a 500. What we'll do is we'll work with you until you achieve that 650 to 680. And then after we get to that point, then you can stop paying the $89 per month and cancel the agreement. There's no contract to cancel. You just tell them, all right, I reached my goal. I'm happy. And then you just stop making the payments. So if you, let's say, for example, we got you your first buy, fix, and flip at the 680 level, you're not going to get the very best terms that are available. Let's say you decide you wanted to go for the very best terms that are available. Well, that's 700 to 720 or above. So you say to us, I want to continue working until I get to that 720. Well, we just keep on working. And with our programs, we have what if scenarios that we can say, what if we do this or what if we do that? How will it reflect on my credit score? Well, we see what it's going to take to get you to that 720, and then we start doing those things. Once we get to that 720, then we put you on the 125% buy, fix, and flip program. And then you're pre-qualified for the working capital. You're pre-qualified for the everything. You're pre-qualified. Once you get to that 720, you're golden. So it's a I know that was a long answer,
Perfect.
but nobody can guarantee you. And I really, if you guys are going to go out there and present this, if somebody tries to nail you to a specific amount at a specific time, be 100% honest with them and tell them nobody can guarantee you anything. It So if somebody does, grab your wallet and run the other direction. So I hope that was clear.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'll say my other question for after others ask their questions.
Okay. Anyone else have a question for Richard or I?
Okay. One, going twice, going three
Yeah,
times.
I have one. Yeah, I got it on mute because I'm on the morning. Everybody, it's Herman. If you got two or three different businesses that you're trying to fund, how do you determine which one that you would go? Put in. How would you put those in order in terms of the one you do first?
Well, I'm not sure. Could you elaborate a little bit, Herman? I don't know that I quite understand the question that well.
Well, if you got, say for instance, you got three businesses, maybe trucking, real estate, insurance. Which one would you try and fund first? How would you prioritize the funding for the three?
Well, if you were a client that had three different businesses, that's something to kind of resolve with the client. Uh, if there's a priority for one over the other. Beyond that, if we had three different businesses from three different clients, we treat them all equally. There's no reason to put one client's business ahead of the other, as far as I can see. In just about every case I can imagine, we're going to treat all three clients the same way. But
No,
again, with an
I would.
individual that has different businesses under his umbrella, so to speak, uh, that's something we'd have to have a discussion with the individual and see if there was one or the other that intrinsically had some sort of bigger deadline or more urgent need than the others. If not, then we treat them all the same as well. I mean, why wait? If money's needed, if the services are needed, and we're prepared to go ahead and move forward.
I might want to take a stab at that also, Richard. And so if a gentleman or lady had three different businesses, and one was manufacturing, one was a retail business, and one was real estate investing, I'd have to have a consultation with that person and find out which one is the most profitable. And when they told me which one was the most profitable, I'd say, okay, let's go ahead and focus on the most profitable one now, because if you if you got something that's going to give you a whole lot of cash flow, and maybe the other ones are a little bit weak in cash flow, you could potentially, if you're the owner of all three of them, you could potentially loan the money from the left pocket to the right pocket, pay off the bills, and solve all three of them, all of their problems. So that I would just say, after consultation and determine which one is the most profitable, that's the one that I would work on the soonest. If it was, we're talking business finance now. If you needed trade lines to be added, again, like I said, the absence of negative credit is not necessarily constitute positive credit. You have to get rid of the negative, then you have to add something positive. So if we put a positive trade line on top of any business or any personal, we put a positive trade line on that account, then that increases the likelihood of your score going up And if your score is higher, then you qualify to get the money that you want, and then you can spread the money around to solve the other problems in your company. Does that answer that question?
Oh, that sounds good. Yes, thank you.
It's a terrific question, Herman, but I would add this little caveat. You notice in just about any scenario that we present to you, the first order of business is to get that credit bureau. We start with the credit. We can talk all day long about what the project is and how strong the investment opportunity is. I mean, all those kinds of things. But it really isn't worth our time until we've got a credit picture in front of us. If there are two or three people, together who are each going to be on the deal, we need a three bureau credit report for each one of them because it begins and ends with credit. That's where we start. Once we have that credit, then the doors open and we can go ahead and get deep into the weeds with the rest of the project. But we've got to have and to analyze a thorough credit bureau first. That's why it's got to be from three bureaus, not just one. That's why, if it needs to be through our service, it only costs $1 for a credit bureau, but that gives us guaranteed everything we need in that credit bureau. Different agencies, different reporting services, different types of credit assistance programs. They'll say, sure, we'll give you a credit bureau report. And then you get it, and it's mostly pictures and fluff and all this other stuff. When we get one from our source, it is a credit bureau. It's a three bureau credit report. Uh, it's in the same format each and every time. The numbers and the information that we need are there. We don't have to come back to it and ask for more information. It's there. And we can, in a fairly short order, do the analysis and figure out, okay, this is what it is. If there's work to be done, then let's do the work. Let's resolve the issues and get ready to go on down the road. But that credit and what we do with it and what needs to be done comes first.
Excellent
Any
answer.
questions?
Great answer. Any other questions?
Yes. Richard just mentioned something about a positive trade. What was that term, Richard? I mean, yeah, positive trade add on or something like that.
Trade line. Trade
Trade
line.
trade line. Okay, yeah. Positive trade line. Okay, that's the term. And so, with those who are participating in the credit restoration program, uh, are you able to add a positive trade line to their account to boost them up to the 720 sweet spot?
Absolutely, and I would encourage everybody to do this. One of the hyperlinks that we have given you and talk about from time to time is this business credit builder. And business credit builder will take you to a website that we have that pitches our business credit builder program. All of you should go to that website, scroll down the first page, and find a video. You know how they put a box on there, and there's a video there to watch, and you can play it or not. Go to that video and play it. Now, I warn you, it's about, what is it, Frank? About 45 minutes long or something. It'll take a
20,
little time to do that.
come on. It's 21 minutes. It's
21
21
minutes.
minutes.
Okay.
It's a green box. You go halfway down this, I think it's below the fold on the page, so you can't see it on the first page. But you scroll down below the page, you go to the green box and you click on the video, and some guy with a squeaky little voice speaks for 21 minutes. And that's why it felt like 40 minutes to Richard. It's got an
Probably some
annoying voice.
snowflake. Anyway, the point is that video and that program, one of the key elements in that program is creating trade lines for your new business or young business that are going to have an extra special push or bounce to your to building credit scores, credit history. It explains it very well in there, but there are some trade lines that you can add where people will open an account for you, and it's hopefully a service that you can use for stuff, whether it's office supplies or hardware store or whatever that you're going to use. As soon as you start charging and making payments on that trade line, they'll report it. They will immediately start reporting that to the credit bureaus, both business and commercial, depending on which one. But that's a terrific way to begin to add more positive input to your credit bureau. And that's a very important tactic. And you can use it any way you want to use it. That's terrific information to have. It'll absolutely amaze you at some of the things you can do to really help build your business credit. That
Is
whole
it
program is certainly worth it. It's expensive, for a one-time fee, but if you're starting a business and you're making investments in this and that and so forth, making an investment for that program is going to pay big time because over the space of 2 years, for example, if you follow their advice and do it right, you might very easily qualify at the end of those 2 years, have a business that has 2 years worth of history that is now profitable and has everything, all the requirements checked for going to us and helping us find you an SBA line that's going to be guaranteed by banks that could get you as much as $2 million on the current status of the SBA loan system. That ain't cheap. That's not a small thing. If you could start a business and 2 years down the pike, know that you could then, if you played it right, if you followed our advice, if you could go out and get a $2 million credit line from the SBA that's guaranteed at low rates and so forth, that would be all the difference in the world between your success and the guy next to you who didn't have that kind of access.
so? Is it
Am I
possible?
overselling that, Frank? Frank, I'm not overselling that, am I?
Uh, no, I think you kind of understated a little bit. It doesn't take 2 years. If with this program, it can take much less than 2 years. In 90 days, you should qualify for about $100,000 in 90 days. And the $2 million, I think you only need 90 days of positive numbers in your bank account to bring you to the point where you can get the SBA. I forget the name of the word. SBA Rapid or Streamlined, SBA Streamline loan. You can get that for up to $2 million with, I think, only 3 months worth of positive numbers in your bank account. So if you're getting like $50,000 to $100,000 in your account, we're talking business now. But if you're doing $50,000 to $100,000 in your account for 3 months in a row, SBA has a streamlined program that you would qualify. But this program that Richard is talking about teaches you all about that. I'm not going to try to teach that to you right now, but this program is what he's talking about. So you did a great job, Richard.
150. What was it about the 150, Frank? For 3 months, what was that? Something about something in your account of 150 for 3 months. $150 worth of business, or
$150,000 worth of business in a business account. That's what I was referring to. You have to have a good number. That was just a a number I was pulling out of the air. You have to have a good number. So if you use this program for a business, they teach you all about how to do this. This is a complete mentoring program. They teach you exactly how to set up your LLC so that you are fundable, as opposed to the way lawyers teach you how to do it. So you are not fundable for 2 years. If you do it the way a lawyer tells you to do it, it's going to take you 2 years to qualify to be funded. If you do it the way this program sets you up, you'll be fundable almost immediately. And then if you're talking about your business, you have an automobile business, you've got a construction company business, you've got a manufacturing facility, you've got a restaurant, whatever the business is, you need to have positive cash flow in your bank account. Once you get to a point where you've got 3 months worth of positive cash flow in your bank account, and I don't know what that number is, I just threw a number out. Once you get that positive cash flow 3 in a row, then you can go to the streamlined SBA, and you'll be shocked at what the SBA doesn't lend money, but what they do is they guarantee money. So the SBA will guarantee your loan for you, just like a VA loan. They don't lend you the money, they just guarantee the bank won't lose money by lending it to you. And that's what the bank wants anyway. They don't want your business, they don't want your house, they want the payments. That's what they want. So that's what they're guaranteed.
Is it
All
possible
right.
to put that link in the chat for the video that goes over that program?
Yeah, I'll send it right now.
Thank you. So on that great slide there in the beginning, where it gave a really good composite overview of what Easy Financial Group does, you had your contact information on there. I'm wondering, is it possible for those like myself who want to have that same information to give to prospective clients, that they contact me instead of you? Because some people may get so excited they just contact you guys and forget who referred them.
We can do that. Let me quickly bring up another. Frankie, go ahead and address that while I'm bringing up this other document I want to show him.
Okay, well, we always refer the people back to the one who invited them to the call. We don't think that people who were just skipping along the internet found us and decided to give us a loan. We asked them, who invited you, who gave you the information, and then we ask them to go back to that person. That's number one. Number two, we are in the process of getting everybody their own phone number and their own account, so that when you market, for example, hey, that's a good segue into, we need people to do marketing and get leads. Okay, well, you're marketing, and you're going to be having your own tracking links, so that as you're marketing for leads, like on Facebook or social media or anywhere, Craigslist, anywhere you want to market, the leads will come back through you. In other words, you're an independent business person, and the leads that come in are coming in through you.
It's like a capture page then, Frank.
Yes, we can do funnels for you. Which is a capture page or a squeeze page. We can do funnels for you, and you can use that funnel and insert your information. And when they land on that capture page, they go back to you, not to us.
So
I've got up on the screen the first page in our Buy Fix and Flip program. It's about 5 pages long, has the complete application as well as some other information. But notice on the front page, this open space right here. If you can see my pointer, there's enough blue space above our name and address and contact information for you to take this document and add your name and contact information right there. And that's what that space is meant to be. You can, before you hand this out to somebody, you can put your name and contact information right there. So there's no confusion and they got your contact information. They know who to call.
So that right there is like a 5-page, you said it was 5 pages?
Yes.
So that's like a 5-page flyer then.
Yes.
Excellent. Oh, that's awesome.
So what we do with this 5-page flyer is when you're going to go to the RIA group, for example, and you want to get leads, because that's what this is all about. This business is all about. If you expect to percolate, you have to circulate to expect to percolate. So if you want to get leads, what I do is I have people like you. Scroll all the way up to the first page again, please. Okay, that doesn't look like it's going to work, but the way this document was designed is you print this as the front page, then you flip it over, scroll down to the next part, please, Richard, and you use this as the back page, and you print it on the front and you print it on the back, one sheet of paper. Now scroll back up to the top again, Richard. When you fold this like you're going to stick it into a number 10 business envelope, your information is right there in the front. Okay, so when you tri-fold it, 1, 2, 3, and stick it into an envelope, your information would be right there underneath the V 5.1. They'd be looking right at your information. What we do is when we are getting leads, for example, I talked last week about going to trade shows. I talked about going to the RIA groups. I talked about going to the real estate offices and doing that 10-minute presentation that we did last week. I think Ron's going to do it Wednesday for you on Wednesday's training. But when you go to do those presentations, you print up a pile of these, just one page, front and back of one page. And then you hand these out as flyers. But when they're ready to actually fill out and actually apply for the loan, scroll down, please, to the application part of it. Stop. There you go. And so now you have the actual application. Now, let's talk about getting leads. If you do certain things consistently, the same things over and over again for 30 days, you will get a lot of leads. People have heard that Frank gives away tons of leads. Why? Well, I'll tell you the why, because I have too many. There's no way I can get to them all. And how did I get all of these leads? By being consistent, by consistently going to RIA groups, by consistently going to home and garden shows, finance shows, any kind of a public presentation, and any kind of Facebook and YouTube and anything like that. I all the time am marketing for leads. If you do those kinds of things, you will get consistently. If you do them consistently, you'll get tons of leads. Plus, later on, I'll be sharing with you lead sources that you can get unlimited free leads for life. So I'll be sharing that with you later on. But the point I'm trying to make is, what you do is you take that first 2 pages as your flyer, and then from that, you put them into a CRM, customer relationship management software, like is available at the Great Discovery. And and then you keep track of them, and they're your leads. These are your clients. So you'll be able to access them. It just do the same things consistently, and you'll never run out of leads.
Awesome. And you said that this particular flyer, Frank, you're going to email that to us, or we're going to post a link.
I think Richard already sent it to you in
Okay.
the welcome package.
Okay. Okay.
Is that correct, Richard?
Yep. We're getting ready to do another group. We've kind of assembled a folder of documents needed by our affiliates, and we're going to have a number of documents in that folder, and we will email that to everybody so that you can put that folder someplace safe in your computer and refer to those documents whenever you need them.
Well, I was thinking specifically of going to Staples or Office Max, whatever, and have that front and back page done up. So what you sent in the welcome package, I can go to Office Max and email that to them, and they can create the flyer for me.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
You just have to make sure that they understand. You don't want them to print out all 5 pages. You want them to print the front page number 1 on the front, and then flip it over and print page number 2 on the back, and then use that as your business flyer. But also make sure that they put in between V5.1, that's version 5.1, and Easy Financial, right in that real estate right there. You need to put in your information, and then it's customized to you, and the people are always going to get back to you. All right.
Yes.
All right. If there are no more questions, it is after the hour. It's 11 o'clock. We do have another call to jump on.
So
any other questions before we leave?
One last question. The call on Wednesday is going to be similar to this call right here?
A little more focused on training. Our Wednesday sessions are specifically reserved for primarily for training. We'll do updates. We'll do some sales tips and so forth, but we're going to have a block of training specifically for specific purposes every Wednesday.
And what about the Friday call?
Again,
So
more
let
like
me
this,
let me
kind of a
address
wrap
that,
up for the
please.
week.
Richard, let me address that. Monday is let's set the tone for the week. What you need to be doing, you need to, of course, be getting out there and getting leads. Wednesday, how do we do what we're doing? It's the training. We want you to know, you want you to understand what it is we're doing and how to do it. And then Friday is the week in review. We want to have any kind of questions, concerns, and goals that you have achieved. So on Monday, you set the goal. I'm going to call 5 people a day, every day, and I'm going to set appointments to talk to them about this. Wednesday, we learn the mechanics of how we actually do whatever. And then Friday, we go over what did you do? We hold you accountable. We want you to be accountable for what the goal you made on Monday. Did you achieve it? Did you have any roadblocks? Did you overcome those roadblocks? And let's celebrate your victories. And that's what Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday sets the goals, Wednesday sets the training, Friday is the week in review. That's the way we've structured it, and we hope that works for everybody. Okay, well, it's after 11 o'clock, so we are late for our next call.
Thank you. Great session.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll
God
talk
bless.
to you soon.
All right. God bless.
Take care.